this nation. Having worked his way up from the enlisted ranks to full colonel, he served our country for more than 32 years. He has served as a bomber squadron commander, bomb disposal technician, Joint Chiefs of Staff operations officer, assisted the national security team with the campaign plan for the global war on terrorism. He authored the first theater nuclear war plan and served as the vice commander of America's largest airborne intelligence wing. Colonel Rob Maness is a true American hero. This is Rob Maness Live.
Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
Welcome back to Training Tuesday, folks. The Rob Maness Show is live on Worldview Tube and our X Spaces simulcast. We must expose the truth, because if we do not, our country will become ungovernable, as a people are treated differently under the law based on their religion or their political beliefs. That is the road to destruction that we, the people, have within our power to prevent. And my guest today helps us every day to understand what it takes. Pastor David Scarlett is the founder of His Glory. You saw a little clip of his intro, Psalm 91, a global ministry reaching over 25 million viewers. He is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He served abroad with honor before building a successful career in business, holding leadership roles in AT&T, Verizon, Office Max, and as global director of wireless sales at Microvision. A descendant of the tribe of Judah, David's path took a dramatic turn after a near-death experience in which he encountered heaven and the Most High God, a moment that transformed his life and led to the founding of His Glory. Today, David's dedicated to sharing that message of love, redemption, and biblical truth worldwide. His Glory supports the lost, the elderly, and the poor while equipping people with spiritual insight and the encouragement to stand for truth, freedom, and justice from a biblical perspective. Pastor Dave Scarlett, welcome to the Rob Maness Show, sir.
Colonel, hey, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and a blessing.
Hey, man, I've been looking forward to this. I love that Psalm 91 thing. Obviously, I played it in my show. That's fantastic. So let's start with your Marine Corps experience and this near-death issue that happened with you, Dave.
Well, I served in the Marines. The reason I went in the Marines is my grandfather was a lieutenant colonel, fighter pilot in World War II in the Korean War. He was the only person in our family that served in the Marines. And I turned down a Division I football scholarship to go in the Marines. People thought I was crazy, but I needed that for not only my grandfather, but for me. I had to get my path in life, and serving in the Marine Corps was a great honor. Then I went to the corporate world, rose up the highest levels you could get in the corporate world, director of 3 Fortune 100 companies, like you said. But I was living for the world. It was just about the money, the fame, the gain, all that. And my head was big, And one day on 777, I ate botulism toxin in a chili dog. And from that point on, I went to the Cleveland Clinic on Friday the 13th. You can't make these dates up. And I died that night, and then I died another. So I died three times. I had two near-death experiences. The first time that I had a near-death experience, here I am in the Cleveland Clinic, and I'm on a respirator because botulism toxin completely shuts down your entire body. I couldn't
Hmm.
talk. I couldn't eat. I could obviously walk. You're paralyzed. And so they got me stable enough, and it was a blessing that I never smoked. So I had pretty good
Hmm.
lungs. And so they tried to pull the tube away. And that moment when you see Cleveland Clinic doctors start to panic, you go, "Uh-oh, Houston, we have a problem." And I knew in that moment I was done. I was gone. And the only thing I could think of is that, my kids and my wife, everything, were they going to be okay? And that's a painful thing. When we were in the Marines, we'd always talk about what would be the most painful way to die. And it wasn't shooting, but we always said drowning because that anxiety, that
Yeah.
panic, you can't breathe. Well, that's what I experienced, but the Lord took it away. He took me right up to heaven and the light. I saw the tremendous glory of the Lord. I saw the love. I saw the shalom, the true peace that can only come in heaven. Vivid. You were seeing screens in heaven that you've never seen on technology here in the United States or in the world. The smells, the sounds, everything was amazing. And then he showed me these mahogany pictures of my entire life, pictures that were never taken on Earth. And what he later showed me was those were pictures that there was no sin in any of those pictures, but my
Hmm.
report card was empty. I didn't do anything for his purpose and his glory. So he saved me. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to bring you back, and you're going to start a ministry called By My Name, His Glory," which I'm the least likely to be a pastor or running a ministry. I was in the corporate world and a Marine. And as soon as I got back, I thought, wow, I can't believe I just experienced heaven. I said, I didn't see Jesus. So I was praying that because I couldn't talk. And before I could even get that prayer out of my heart, there he was at the end of the ICU. Jesus never said a word, but just glowing,
Hmm.
radiating like in the book of Revelation. And I got that shalom and that peace and that love back from him. So amazing.
That is amazing, man. That's why I wanted to get you on so we could hear that story and talk about what you did. So His Glory, uh, I didn't identify it as a website or an entity or anything in my opening. Uh, I get why that name, but what's the mission of His Glory?
The mission is to go into all seven mountains, kind of like Marines Force Recon, and to bring the lost. We want to hit 1 billion souls. Our motto is to hit 1 billion souls for Jesus Christ. But we have to go into the world, not of the world, but in the world, to bring the lost, to plant the seed. You mentioned in your opening monologue about truth, and that's what we bring is the truth to the world, and the true truth, which is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And what is our purpose? Why are we here? And what can God use me for?
Yeah. How far along are you? Are you tracking the numbers?
We're not to 1 billion, that's for sure. But every we're getting closer every day, and that's why we go under these attacks from Satan. We've had all kinds of attacks, but we will get to 1 billion souls.
Oh yeah, man. I've looked at some of your stuff, and tell us about War Report. I see the words on the in your studio behind you and everything. I love it. I do more War Mondays myself. On my show is live 4 days a week, so we theme Monday as More War Monday. What's War Report all about?
War Report is bringing the world news Monday through Friday from a biblical lens to show the world where we're at.
Hmm.
Remember a few years ago, the Lord said to me, He gave me a prophetic word. He says, I want you to start something called the Take Five, which later became the War Report. And I said, what the heck is that? What do you mean? What do you want me to do? He goes, I want you to take your experience from the world in the corporate America, being a Marine, bring it all together and show the world news, but through the truth of me and a biblical lens. And that's what we do so that when no matter what it looks like in the natural, we know that we have a most high God that has it and gives us that shalom. That's why Psalm 91 is so important to pray that literally over yourself and your loved ones every day. I've had Roger Stone on many times, but I think it finally dawned on Roger about 3, 4 weeks ago. Last time I had him on, he goes, Psalm 91. You do that over every show. I said, yes, we need that protection. And he just lit up and said, that's important.
It is important. I've had Roger on many times myself, and he has had many things done to him, and one of the things I want to do during this hour is chat with you about some of the coverage that, in your perspective, that you're covering on some of these things that are going on in the on planet Earth here right now, because that's what we do here at the Rob Maness Show. Is we try to cover the truth and the facts, because the media, the corporate media that we've all known all of our lives, fails to do that routinely now, and they're spreading the message of evil, really, the evil one, in my opinion. And very rarely does God's message get out, the one of hope, love, that you can really have peace, and that in the end, God wins. These evil people like to spread the message of Satan, which wants you to believe that Satan is going to be victorious, even though he might be in the short term, huh?
Exactly. I think people are really starting to wake up to what my purpose is. And I think Charlie Kirk, pun intended, was truly a turning point for not only this country, but the world. People realize, hey, I may not go to church, I may not believe that there's a God,
Mhm.
but I just see evil is real. And if there's evil, there's got to be a God. And you see record people going to church, you're seeing revivals take off, the youth. Just like the scripture said in the end days, Joel 2 are coming to church. They want to find out what their purpose is. And when you understand this is truly a war between light versus dark, this is not Republican, Democrat. This is truly evil versus good, and there's no middle ground. What are you going to choose today, and what is the purpose that God has you for your life? Don't be like me and have to go to heaven by the skin of your teeth and have a 0 on your report card.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought Charlie up. What are your thoughts on everything you're seeing? You just went into it a little bit, but I think there's an amazing transformation of the human population happening, and that God has turned this tragedy, uh, as God does, into
Yep.
something wonderful.
It is absolutely amazing. I don't know if anybody would have ever predicted that because before that, but it has turned people's heart to find out again, as I said earlier, what is my purpose? I want to find out more about Jesus. I want to go to church. I want to see what having a moral compass is all about. We as a nation have lost that moral compass, and when you lose that moral compass, you see what we've gone through in the last few years with Joe Biden in the office. We have to have that moral compass, and we have to put Christ center. We were founded, as you know, Colonel, under Judeo-Christian values. Our forefathers to preach the gospel. That's why we were created, and we've lost that on purpose by Satan to take God out of everything. Now it's time to put God into everything because He is our guiding light.
Dave, were you as surprised as I was that every cabinet member, the vice president and the president of the United States spoke about their Christian faith at Charlie's memorial service?
Surprised, yeah, maybe before that happened, I would say I'd be surprised, but not now. I feel the Spirit of the Lord moving. I see what He did in Butler, Pennsylvania with President Trump. I see people around him very closely that it's the real deal. I know I was just with Eric a couple days ago, and it's not all talk. They are absolutely that's changed President Trump's life. And Marco Rubio, what his speech he gave, I would say is better than 98% of the pastors out there on the gospel of Jesus Christ. It was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's the one that surprised me the most. I think we're witnessing a transformation in him, somewhat like we did. I think Charlie didn't always lead overtly with his faith, but he always led with his faith. But here recently, after he became a husband and a dad, I really noticed it when I would see him at events and talking and everything. And that is uh, seeing Rubio and Vance and those folks take the message on and continue to channel Charlie and who was really channeling Jesus Christ and God. I think Charlie was probably the best witness of the 20th and 21st century for the gospel of Jesus Christ, and most people didn't even know it until after he died.
You're exactly right. And he was more than just a great public speaker and debater. There's no
Yeah.
question in my mind that he was anointed by God. Some of the things he could come up with, I mean, yes, he had a brilliant mind, but it was a condition of his heart. I had many opportunities to speak to him privately off camera, and all he would want to talk about is Jesus. That was his number one thing to go to these college campuses, is to reach that youth, because that youth was lost before what Charlie Kirk did. They were the farthest away from God than any generation probably since the United States has been founded. And he helped spark that turning point. And now after his death, it's not just the United States, it's in the world.
Absolutely right. Well, today is October 7th. We got to take a break, but when we come back, we'll see a clip about October 7th in the land of Israel. We'll be right back with Pastor Dave Scarlett.
How far is it from here to the Gaza border?
We are 700 meters from Gaza border.
700 meters.
Yeah, that's it.
On October 7th, what happened?
We were here in our home, and when everything starts, we go to our safe room.
Lishai, her husband Omri, and 2 children sheltered in place.
But around 9, we start to hear the shooting and the yelling.
اهرجوا طف عليه
At 10:30, they get into our home from the window, and Alma was in my arms. I put my hand on her mouth because I really scared that she start to yelling or crying.
مين على الشارع؟ اطلع سلم حالك شوف تعال اطلع سلم حالك.
And after 2 minutes, we hear a lot of people inside our home. They start to yelling at us to get out from the safe room.
Meanwhile, Lishai's neighbors are being held captive.
Come with me. Come with me. Talk to him to open the door.
The terrorists themselves live-streamed the video.
Tell him go out.
The neighbor's son is forced to Lishai's home.
And then we hear a voice in Hebrew. Please open the door, because if you don't open the door, they are going to kill you and they are going to kill me, so please open the door.
You recognize the voice?
Yeah, we recognize the voice. We decide to open the door, and then we see that we have inside our little home 5 monsters.
Then they kidnap Lishai's husband.
They just took him.
And you haven't seen him since?
No. The Jewish always say never again, but unfortunately never again happened in October 7.
The Dragon's Prophecy, in theaters October 6th and 8th. Streaming and DVDs available October 9th. Get the film at thedragonsprophecyfilm.com.
Welcome back to the Rob Maness Show. It's Training Tuesday here on Worldview Tube, and it's the Lord's Day, as it is every day. And that little clip there was from the Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza's documentary of the book by the same name from Jonathan Cahn. And my wife and I went and saw the movie just last night, as we said we would do. You have to go see this movie, folks, or get it to download for it to watch on your home systems and everything. It's very, very important. My guest today is Pastor Dave Scarlett. And Dave, I couldn't let October 7th go. It's a 2-year anniversary without giving you a chance to talk about it. It's the Jewish people are God's chosen people. This is, I believe, is a biblical event. I think Dinesh, I don't know if you've seen the movie yet or not, but Dinesh did a very, very respectful treatment of that issue throughout this documentary, The Dragon's Prophecy. And I just think we have to talk about it. We have to keep talking about it because this is evil versus good, and that was the epitome of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it certainly was. Ironically enough, we were in Israel about a year prior to this happening, and we made the film Holy Land with Mickey Willis, where I interviewed many Israeli generals that I know, and we're preparing that something big was coming again. They knew something big was on the horizon, and then that footage that you just showed, I was literally there probably 4 months before October the 7th. Matter of fact, October the 7th, in November of that year, General Flynn was going to Israel as my guest. And because of what happened in Israel, we couldn't go because of the security at that point. But this was the worst attack on the Jewish people that has ever happened. And Americans don't realize just the terror that they went through and are still going through, the evil, just the demonic that comes through. And you mentioned Jonathan Cahn. Jonathan Cahn is absolutely brilliant on taking world events and putting a biblical lens on it, like he did with this movie and also his new book, Avatar. It's amazing how through the Bible, the patterns that are used for good and evil. But this was definitely evil that went to the Jewish people on October 7th, and we can never forget that.
Yeah, we can't. What do you talk about when you discuss this subject? One of the things that's troubled me the most over the last couple of years is watching this movement rise here in the United States among our people. That says basically Israel's not allowed to defend itself and eliminate the threat of Hamas. The people have been indoctrinated that there's some kind of genocide going on, which the International Criminal Court has declared is not happening. And then you see things like what happened at the UN General Assembly, where you have the former Al Qaeda, ISIS leader that's now in charge of Syria, unfortunately with our help, and you have Benjamin Netanyahu, and people get up and walk out on Netanyahu, but they stay and listen respectfully to this terrorist that's now got control of Syria. It's just unconscionable what's happening to our population.
Yeah, it's you mentioned it. It has to tie into the fake news too. It's the propaganda that goes through our universities, and that's why we take a yearly trip to Israel. We take as many people as we can. The last group I think was about 380 people, because once people go to the Holy Land and see it for themselves, go down where this happens and see how the leadership of Hamas is treating their own people. No running water, no electricity. Don't pick up the garbage. Then they get a real view instead of what the fake news is telling them that. This propaganda. They realize Israel's very small, and they're doing a lot for the Palestinian people. It's the evil leadership of Hamas and the terror organizations that are ultimately run by Iran.
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed retired special forces guys that have gone to help distribute food through the I think it's called the GHF now, because Hamas was killing people for taking the UN food supplies that were trying to be delivered. So they set up a new organization that Israel and the United States were in control of, and these guys, they don't lie. These special forces guys, many of them Green Berets, when they come back and they talk to you and they talk to people like me, they tell the truth, and the truth is they've seen kids get slaughtered by Hamas people because Hamas doesn't want them to get food.
Exactly right. Yep. They steal it from them and they don't let them have it. And again, it goes to the propaganda because nobody is following up on the fake news. The other thing that we have to discuss, I think, too, is this why this extreme about Israel. There's so many that now on the right are anti-Israel. And for me, it's hard to understand because it's a tale of two worlds. It's just like the Bible. And in the Bible, all the kings of Israel were wicked. They brought in false gods. I look at Israel, portions of the Israeli government. There's demonic inside that. just like there's demonic deep state in the United States of America. What
Yeah.
we're called to support is biblical Israel, the Abrahamic covenant. The land is Israel's forever. And the Davidic covenant, that King David, in the line of David from the tribe of Judah, our Messiah will rule and reign forever. And that's what we stick up for, is Israel. And you're either all for Israel or all anti-Israel, but people are not understanding there's both in this.
Yeah, I mean, you can criticize the government of Israel just like we criticize the government of the United States, even with Donald Trump in charge. I still
Yep.
have criticism of the government of the United States because Donald Trump can't control everything. He hasn't even got all of his people appointed yet and confirmed and on the job yet. It's been what 10 months now, so there's no way. And he needs us to be critical and open about it so he could see it because the media is that lying propaganda media that doesn't
They
like
are.
facts. That's why you and I exist now. And the same thing with the government of Israel. I'm not happy with Netanyahu. What some of the things Netanyahu does. I was interesting. I was watching an interview about Charlie, and he had been critical of Netanyahu and the government of Israel, and was getting threats
Yep.
from people saying he was an anti-Semite and all of that. That's just not correct.
No, his heart was in the right spot for biblical Israel. He actually his pastor was Rob McCoy, and Rob McCoy, I don't know if you know Rob, but Rob McCoy is an amazing pastor, knows the Bible, understands the important position of Israel not only today
Hmm.
but end times as well. So for them to call him an they tried to do that to me too, except I have a little bit of Jewish blood in me from the tribe of
Hmm.
Judah.
Yeah, yeah, you do. As a matter of fact, Charlie, I think, was working on a book about Shabbat, the concept of Shabbat when he died. So it's just incredible. And I'm glad you brought that. I'm glad we went to this discussion about. My wife and I have been talking about it a lot the last year, and that is how Christianity and our ties to things like the Jewish festivals should be stronger, and we should pay attention to that relationship because Jesus was Jewish. All the initial disciples were Jewish. I mean, Jesus turned over the money changer tables in the temple, in the
Yep.
Jewish temple. So we should pay attention to that relationship and really honor those types of activities as we move forward in our Christian life. Is that the way you see it too?
Absolutely. There's 7 Hebrew festivals. We just came off the last one, the Feast of Booths, or so it's called Sukkoth, or Feast of
Hmm.
Tabernacle. That's the seventh. But every single one of those festivals point to Messiah, points to Jesus, literally fulfillment. And the Scripture tells us in the millennial reign of Christ, when He comes back, we'll be celebrating 3 of those festivals. Would be a requirement to go to Jerusalem every year. So yes, we should. It's so important to God. And again, everything in his festivals point to his coming son, the Messiah, in every one of them.
It's interesting that we have become adults and now we see that. I've been a Christian since I was 14, Dave, but I don't recall there ever being an emphasis from my pastors and my denominations to really take a really not a hard look, but a thorough study of the Jewish people, the Jewish heritage, their traditions, the festivals, and how that ties to God who gave us Jesus Christ. Is this something that's new?
Yeah, it goes back to denominations. Nothing wrong with denomination. You can be a Catholic. We got
Yeah.
probably a couple million Catholics that follow His glory, but it's in the doctrine of their seminaries, and whether they think they know it or not, it's part of the doctrine. And that's some of it's called replacement theology. And just a high level, that's just that they believe that the church has replaced Israel. There's really no importance for the Old Testament. And the
Mm.
Apostle Paul goes out of his way in Romans 9, 10, and 11, and even says, do not be ignorant, brethren. There's a temporary scale on the Jewish people, but that will
Mhm.
come. And We look at the end days. We know we're in the end days. We look at all the things that's happened around Israel. May 14th, 1948, Israel became a nation, getting the city of Jerusalem back in June 6, 1967. The shekel is now the currency again. They're speaking Hebrew. They weren't even speaking Hebrew in the time of Christ. So those four major things of a language, a currency, a nation, and a capital city, eternal, have all come in back in existence in the last 75 years.
Yeah, it's amazing and totally predictable as long as you believe that God is who He is and that He sets the path and has control over that path. So we got to take another break, Dave. When we come back, we'll see a clip about the war on truth. I want to give Pastor Scarlett an opportunity to comment on some of these current events we're seeing as late as today, as a matter of fact, about all the lies.
News is moving faster than ever, and so are we. Worldview Tube brings you 24/7 live stream coverage and now real-time alerts when it matters most. Once you have the Worldview Tube app installed, exit the app and navigate your way to Settings. In Settings, locate the tab labeled Notifications. Select the Notifications tab. Scroll down until you locate the Worldview Tube app icon. Select the tab, and here you can turn on and customize your notification experience for the Worldview Tube app. News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Turn on push notifications to stay informed. Every headline as it happens.
He said he was communicating with his FBI handler while people were entering the U.S. Capitol. Can you confirm that the FBI had that sort of engagement with your own agents embedded into the crowd on January 6th?
If you are asking whether the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources and/or agents, the answer is emphatically
You're saying
not.
No?
No.
These two buses in the middle here, they were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence. I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg. These buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters and deployed onto our Capitol on January 6th. Your day is coming, Mr. Ray.
Welcome back to the Rob Maness Show. It's Training Tuesday. My guest today is Pastor Dave Scarlett, Marine Corps veteran, founder of His Glory. And he has been a high-level executive in high-tech businesses and all kinds of different activities. But he had a near-death experience and came out of it with a vision given to him by God to start His Glory, which is like a global ministry. And you can go to his website and check it out. Dave, I just wanted to use a clip from, I think that's your documentary that you just released not long ago about the war on truth. And that couldn't be anything more appropriate to today. That clip, I remember watching Clay Higgins live when he did that to Chris Wray and got him to blatantly lie as he was wont to do. And now we know for a fact that he was blatantly lying. There were over 275 agents, FBI agents, in that told to be in that crowd, and that's not even counting the CIs, the confidential informants, or the other folks that were paid informants and undercover and those kind of things, is it?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Actor Nick Searcy was the producer of this. Chris Burgard was the director. We at His Glory funded it with another investor. We started with the movie Capital Punishment. That was the first movie about January 6th. It was so, we were attacked by all social media. No network would even run an ad for it. Algorithms, they did everything to stop us. Even the FBI had a helicopter above my studio in Ohio when I'm talking with Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard on what date we're going to release the film, just to try to intimidate us that not to do it. Well, we didn't stop. That's probably the Marine in me, and being in heaven. What's the worst they can do? Kill me? I'll go home to be with the Lord. So we created the War on Truth. That's the second one. That was a follow up, and where you see that was the director's cut that we just released with all the footage, 3 hours and 33 minutes of footage of really a God story, a military story. But the main thing is the title. It's a war on truth. They lied. And now all those lies are coming back.
Yeah, I mean, just last night, I have to get your take on this. Just last night, Senator Grassley released documentation that shows that 8 U.S. senators were being continuously spied on by the FBI. This is not some go to the FISA court, the secret court, get a secret warrant because they're talking to foreign entities and all of that that cover story. This is blatant intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, espionage on full time on U.S. senators and all of their communications. Your thoughts as it plays out?
It's just the tip of the iceberg. You're going to see more coming out in dramatic form. We had President Trump's attorney and longtime friend Peter Tickton on twice a couple weeks ago, and he said they have video evidence to prove that January 6th was a setup. They have the videos, they have everything, and that bombshell hasn't come out yet. So the first one, as you saw, was the 274 agents, FBI agents, where they said there was nobody there. Christopher Wray lying in that clip, and there's more to come. There will be elements of Ukraine that will be coming out that were connected to January 6th as well. It was a setup.
Yeah, I was watching an interview with Steve Bannon and Senator Tuberville this morning, and Tuberville mentioned that they've now turned all this over to a grand jury. My immediate thought was, well, why didn't you turn over all of the spying on regular American citizens that occurred both before, during, and after January 6th to a grand jury? Why are you concerned now that it's you?
Right. Yes. They didn't listen. When we brought out capital punishment, we reached out to every single senator, obviously the Republican senators, because Democrats wouldn't even want to listen to it. They just gave us lip service. Nobody wanted to touch this with a 10-foot pole. And what they were doing to American citizens, you see that in the documentary, the January 6ers. You had a praying grandmother that was praying, and they put her in jail for a year without any due process. They were recording people's by their cell phones, reporting it to banks without a FISA notice, and they had a list that they were targeting. And that targeting we found in all three movies, or actually two. The key thing that they were going after were Christians, and because of their faith, and veterans.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. Christians and veterans. That's what the COVID-19 shot order was all about. At least the way it turned out was that a lot of those folks were religious exemption requests that were Christian based that were denied blanketly, which is against the law, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act law. And that's what made the order implementation unlawful. Well, we got a question from our live audience, Dave. Let's go ahead and take that. Shell as our host over there. Go ahead, Shell.
We have sunlight, sir.
Hey, Colonel Rob and Pastor Scarlett. Just real quick, I noticed right after 10/7, the State Department came out and said that 46 Americans were killed on that day. And I've done the best that I could to try to compile a listing of each one of those Americans that died on 10/7 or or within Gaza over the subsequent couple days. And it's just been so difficult to locate that. But I have I put that in your DMs. I think that it's something that needs to be amplified because
You have a question for the
9/11.
Yes.
Yeah. So, is there any connections that you guys have, within the State Department where you could help get that listing and amplify the Americans killed? It's the greatest deaths of Americans since 9/11.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's not really a question, Dave, but I think it's important that again, the reason why you exist, why I exist, is the facts and the truth are not getting to the American people. We should be talking about that.
Absolutely, yeah, and you can tell the question that the person if they forward it to info@hisglory.me, we'll put it up the chain as far as we can to try to get an answer as well. The good news is we're starting to see a light coming out now on all this darkness, and I truly believe that we're going to start seeing arrest.
Yeah, Pam Bondi was testifying this morning, and she's very belligerent towards the Democrat senators, especially around her own ethical approach and the fact that the law enforcement's out there working and not getting paid right now, and these guys and gals, they want their cities like Chicago to be left completely lawless like they are. And I don't know if you've seen the activity in Portland and Chicago over the last week or so, but it's pretty bad.
It is, and you see the tale of two tales in our country, the good and the evil. I mean, how can you stand against making sure that your cities are protected? You have a governor in Illinois, you got the mayor in Chicago who is saying that they're going to have ice-free zones. Going
Hmm.
against the directive of, we're not just talking about illegal aliens, Colonel, as you know, there's known terrorists in our country that we have to get out of here as well, that are sworn to kill the United States of America.
Yeah, I mean, what is your view, and how does His Glory handle it on the president's decision to use the National Guard to go after and now name groups like Antifa as a domestic terror organization?
Well, 100% support it. You got to cut off the funding. They've been doing this for a long time, getting away with it. Same thing we see through universities. Qatar was bringing money into the universities with pro-Palestine. It's all connected. Once you follow that money, and one of the best things that President Trump did was start the Doge, and then we discovered USA. We saw where that money's going. Cut off that flow of money, which they're doing, and then follow that money trail to these demonic politicians that were using it against the United States of America. We have to go a step further. I don't understand why we haven't named the Muslim Brotherhood a terror organization yet. We must.
Man, you're reading my mind. That's what my next question was going to be to you: is the Muslim Brotherhood is behind Hamas, is behind Al Qaeda, is behind ISIS, is behind the Iranians, as far as I'm concerned, and the tyrannical theocracy that they've established there, and we still have not named them as a terrorist organization and put them on the terror watch list. And their organization, CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations here in the United States. They have chapters all over the states, all the way down to the local level, continues to spout this propaganda that America is bad, that Marxism is good. They've got a major candidate in New York City, Mondami, who's on the cusp of winning, and have established beachheads all around this country, including in the state of Texas. And we still do not call out the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah, we must. I know Marco Rubio brought it up about a month ago, but I haven't seen any action. It needs to take action. It's a must. We have another documentary that's coming out very soon about Dearborn. We go and show you that Sharia law is being practiced in Dearborn. We know it's being done in Minneapolis. They're trying, as you said, do it in Texas. That's part of this radical Islam to try to come from within into the United States and take us over. It's a real threat.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people see Islam as one of the three Abrahamic religions and those kind of things. But as somebody who was in the Pentagon on 9/11 and actually has been interacting with Islamists since I was a kid in Morocco in the late 60s, early 70s, when they were trying to kill the royal family there, the Islamists. I don't see them as a religion. I see them as a form of an ideological form of government that's antithetical to the Constitution of the United States. How can we have that exist inside of this country when we have the Constitution?
We can't. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring in Sharia law and bypass the Constitution. They're running again, as I said, Sharia law in Dearborn, Michigan, as we have this interview, and we have to take the threat very seriously because they're not going to stop. And you're right; it's an ideology. I've had General Flynn on say the same thing. General McInerney, General Valley. I've read the Quran many times and studied the Quran on what the Quran means. And there's no question it is not a religion. It is an ideology.
Yeah, and it has has purpose, and you can identify its actions, like when they take over a Christian church and turn it into a mosque, like what happened with the Sophia Hagia in Turkey, or has happened on temporary terms with the cathedral, the American cathedral in Washington, D.C., in that area. They did that once, and then it was reset back to a Christian church. That is a part and parcel of the occupation of Islam of a non-Islamic society.
Yes, and that, as you said, that's a target. That they're doing that on purpose. They're targeting churches to bring mosque in to overtake Christianity. That's their goal. And you allow them to come in and do that and reproduce more than the American, citizens here. The point is they'll get to a higher percentage. The higher percentage of the population, the more aggressive they get towards Sharia law. It's not if, it's when. And we as Americans have to stand up and say that is not does not go with our Constitution.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Well, Pastor Dave, we've got to take our last break. When we come back, we've got a hand up in the audience. We'll see a little clip on accountability. We're only asking for accountability, folks. I don't want to get Pastor Dave's take on what's happening along those lines here in the Trump administration. We'll be right back with Pastor David Scarlett of His Glory. Go check it out.
We have a big announcement, folks. It's called Bella Melt. In the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel.
MelissaHouseBG.com just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
Well, I knew she invented it all because I said so in Chapter 2 of my book, Clinton Collusion. And now we know that Hillary Clinton not only invented the Russia hoax, she financed the Russia hoax, she disseminated the Russia hoax, and Barack Obama knew it. He sat on the information, he covered it up to protect Clinton and destroy Donald Trump. He sat there silently as our government was thrown into turmoil for the last 4 years over what he knew, based on the intelligence presented to him by John Brennan, was phony information conjured up by Hillary Clinton to distract from her own emails. But it demonstrates just how immoral, unscrupulous, devious, and corrupt Hillary Clinton was. And for those like John Brennan, who's now gone on the air and said, well, she didn't do anything wrong, she didn't do anything illegal, he doesn't know. He's not a lawyer. I would argue she has committed crimes depending upon how she disseminated the information. It's a crime, a felony.
Well, didn't he disseminate that information?
False information to a law enforcement.
Didn't he give it to Harry Reid?
He did, and so he would be culpable.
Welcome back to the Rob Maness Show, and it's Training Tuesday. I may change this to Truth Tuesday. My goodness, like we do Truth Thursdays, too. That's Greg Jarrett, who has not been on Fox News Channel in a long, long time because he just is too much of a truth teller. And Hannity had him on the other night. And it's good to see that, but we've got to see true accountability. And my guest today is Pastor Dave Scarlett, the founder of His Glory. And he does a war report. We'll get the details on when and where that airs, but I think he does it every day of the week. Dave, accountability. We're only asking for real accountability. And what that means to me as an American that has risked his life for his country, lost friends in service to the Constitution, is that equal treatment under the law. And by golly, if I had done the things with information that Hillary Clinton had done, I would be in Fort Leavenworth for life, more than likely.
You're absolutely right, and accountability must happen. If it's not, then our whole government is going to come down. Just think of the process if somebody in the Democrat side gets back in. Eric Swalwell is already talking about what they would do to President Trump and people around President Trump as retribution. All roads lead to Hillary Clinton, Brennan Clapper, and Barack Obama. Barack Obama should be very nervous right now because I'm told he's in the crosshairs.
Well, he should be. I mean, he made decisions, especially around the Russia hoax, that really resulted in the establishment of a seditious conspiracy, an attempt to first stop an elected president, duly elected president Donald J. Trump, from taking office, and then to destroy his ability to govern, which is a coup d'état. By a former president and the people he left in place. It's like having booby traps in every branch and every agency of the federal government that the man couldn't help but trip tripwires every time he took a step.
You're exactly right. This is unprecedented in American history that we had this type of coup, treason at the highest levels to set up President Trump and try to destroy his presidency before he got in office, while he was in office. These impeachments over the Ukraine were all to cover their tails as well. The truth has got to get out. Again, President Trump's attorney, Peter Tickton, says he believes that there will be people will be held accountable because we must. Because if we don't, we'll never be the same.
Yeah, absolutely right. We got another hand in the audience. Let's go ahead and take that question before we get to the end of the show. Shell, go ahead.
We have Liz, sir. Liz? I don't believe she can make it to her mic.
Okay.
Sir.
All right. She may be having some problems there. I know she had some.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Liz.
Okay. Good afternoon, Colonel Pastor. Semper Fi. I'm also a Marine.
Semper Fi.
I was wondering if the pastor could say a prayer, especially for the veterans out there right now. They're struggling with everything that's going on in the world. It's hard for us to look and see what our government has done. And
I think we lost Liz, but I get the gist of what she's talking about, Pastor Dave. I mean, I talk to veterans every day. I'm one myself, obviously, and it is heartbreaking to all of us to see what's happening, and we're all trying to not just deal with it, but address the issue at the local level, which has national impact. As General Flynn, myself, you, we all say that all the time. What do you? Would you say a prayer for the veterans and their families of the country?
Absolutely. You know, the veterans are near and dear. Every time we have an event, we start with prayer. We blow the shofar. We invite the Holy Spirit. And then we also ask for those veterans that are in the crowd to stand up, because we wouldn't be the United States of America without all our veterans past and our soldiers today. So I pray in the Lord's name, Jesus Christ, put your protection, your hand, Psalm 91, around every single veteran that has served this great Eagle Nation. Lord, lift them up. Give them your shalom. Give them your peace. Give them your unconditional love. Show them the way, what their purpose is. And everything you do, everything we do is for your glory, Lord. Lift them up and let them feel your presence for such a time as this. And let them know you love them and they're activated for such a time as this. We pray that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And we need more witnessing of the gospel of Jesus Christ in public. I was so glad to see J.D. Vance tell a reporter, hey, with Charlie Kirk's assassination, I've decided that I am no longer going to stand by and be silent about my faith in public, even while in office. I'm going to talk about it openly. And I think that's the transformation. That's the miracle. I think that we're seeing from God within the United States anyway, because we had walked away from that, really, Dave. Yeah. I want to close with this question and just get your take on it, since you've studied this so long and are so active. in the Lord's work. Are we witnessing the end times?
We are. This is what the scripture calls in Joel 2 specifically. It's called the day of the Lord. And the day of the Lord is just a category of end time events. I don't know. We don't know when the day or the hour that Christ will come back, but we can see by Matthew 24 the seasons, nation against versus nation, kingdom versus kingdom. It's not saying the same thing twice. It's literal nation versus literal nation in war. And then it's the kingdom. The kingdom of what? Kingdom of light versus the kingdom of dark. And that's exactly happening right now. And the Lord is separating the wheat and the tare. This is the greatest time in the history of the world to be alive, because this is the commission that the Lord gave us in Mark 16, to go out and preach the gospel from east to west and north to south before his coming. That was one of the conditions he put in Matthew 24. When you see these events, you start seeing these birth pains, the gospel has to be preached from east to west and north to south. And I truly believe, pun intended, and once again, that Charlie Kirk's assassination, his murder, was a true turning point. That light is going to spread throughout the world, and we're going to see the greatest revival in the history of the world.
Yeah, we are seeing it. I mean, there have been over 100,000 chapter requests for new chapters of Turning Point USA organizations at the high school and college level. I mean, I see every day where young people, especially, are saying, "I want to go to their parents if they're still interacting with them. I want to go to church with you," where they haven't done it their entire lives. And when you ask them why, it's because of Charlie Kirk. One of the phenomenon, though, and I'll ask you how you handle it, that we've noticed here in our family is we went to church right after Charlie was killed, and the pastor did not say his name. And my wife actually asked him after church. She went up to him and said, "Hey, I am here because of Charlie Kirk. I haven't been going to church regularly, and I came here because of that. And I want you to know that, and ask you why you didn't say his name during your speech, your sermon." And he was interesting because he said, "Oh, my grandsons love Charlie Kirk. They're devastated by this, and I just love him to death." And she goes, "Well, maybe you should love him enough to say his name and talk about it to your congregation." And I think we should all be asking for that and be open about it.
Absolutely. She's spot on. I was told about 50% of all pastors did not say a word about Charlie Kirk. The common thing coming back is that they didn't want to be too political. Well, that's what the Lord said in the last days. We'd have itchy ears trying to tell people what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. The gospel is truth. Jesus gave us truth. It cost him his life for eternity so that we could spend eternity with him. And we need boldness behind the pulpit. We need the truth to be told. We've started warrior groups because it was never meant to be really four walls. I mean, you can go to a church, but we are the church. We're mobile. It's the assembly. So in all 50 states, we have warrior groups. They meet in their house. They tune in into our weekly Shabbat service, and they pray over each other. They lift each other up in prayer, and that's really where the gospel really is going to spread throughout houses and small groups.
Yeah, Pastor Dave, this is not a time to be down, is it? This is what's your message to folks that are down right now? Because I don't feel down. I feel excited. I'll be 64 here in a few weeks, and I'm excited to still be alive during this time and get to see this.
Yeah, it's the most exciting time in world history. The Bible talks about the time we're in now more than any part of the Bible. And we're chosen for such a time as this. The question is, are you going to be a part of it? What is your purpose in life? Every single person watching this has a purpose from God. It's for us to lean into that purpose, getting into his word, ask him, what do you want me for such a time as this? As General Flynn always talks, one of his favorite verses is Isaiah. Here I am, Lord, use me. We need more people to raise their hand and say, Lord, use me. I'm ready for this end time outpouring to lift people up in love and spread the gospel from east to west and north to south.
Yeah, Isaiah 6:8. Here I am, Lord, send me. I'll go for you. That is the motto of many a veteran of the United States that has willingly volunteered to do much more than get a college education or or have a good paying job, but to serve something bigger than themselves. And now we have the biggest thing. The Great Commission is playing out before our very eyes. We have this great opportunity. Well, Pastor Dave, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Tell folks about where they can find all the things that His Glory is doing, and what's the best place to see your shows.
Well, first of all, Colonel, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure and a blessing. You can follow us at www.hisglory.me. That's our 24/7 Bible studies, weekly Shabbat services, and more. And then our all of our broadcasts. We have a 24/7 TV network. And then hisglory.tv is where all our music is, our documentaries, our movies. So hisglory.tv and hisglory.me.
Well, thank you, sir. God bless you. Pray for you. And maybe someday I'll get to go to Israel. I've told my wife I have to do that. It's on my bucket list. I've not been able to get there. But I appreciate you taking people over there.
It's a game changer.
Yes, it is. We will see you tomorrow. It's Whistleblower Wednesday. My friend Chad Caton, I'm fired up on X, has been out on the ground reporting live from Portland, Oregon, where the Antifa headquarters is, Rose City Antifa. That's the headquarters of the domestic terrorist organization inside this United States. And Chad has been there with Nick Sorter and Ben Berquam and other great Americans reporting live for several days now. Well, he's back. He's getting some rest, and we got an hour with him tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Tag the President of the United States and his press secretary. They need to listen to this too, and they need to get Chad to come talk to him about it. We'll see you then.